Greetings, YouTube. I said about 12 hours ago that I would be gone, well, for about 12 hours, and that I would make a video on any updates when I got back. Well, good news is, I did get back safely, and there are updates. Yesterday we talked about the all-time dumpster fire that was what appeared to be, many of us believed, either some kind of practical joke like April Fool's in December, or if nothing else, a reminder that you could get more rewards from the daily level up event than you could a holiday calendar. Now, I'm starting this by showing you and reminding you of what this thing looked like in 2019. It wasn't just that it had 5-star shards and 4-star shards and 6-star shards, but it had to do with something that was really important to players, that's more important than ever because of the economy shift of the game. So on day 12, right, you had a tier 4 class catalyst. That may not seem like a big deal to people like myself who get those fairly often, but to players who need them, even if you're just trying to take a 4-star to rank 5, or 5-star to rank 3, tier 4 class catalysts are very important, even if it's not a selector. And then you had both Tier 1 alphas on day 7, and then a Tier 2 alpha. Now, the holiday calendar every year for the last 3 or 4 years, it might be 3 years, has given us a Tier 2 alpha. Before the monthly calendars were buffed, and they're truly amazing. If you're Cavalier or Thronebreaker, you get a fully formed Tier 2 alpha every month. That's 12 free Tier 2 alpha a year just for logging into the game. But it was not that way for a long time, except for during the holiday calendar and usually the January monthly calendar in MCOC. So remember this, because we're about to discuss the changes for this year. If you need a reminder of what the dumpster fire was, this is what we saw yesterday. Now, for some people like myself, day 6 and day 8 were mystery glitches that ended up being the epic shards. It might be epoch. It's the anniversary crystal shards. Now, the problem is, they didn't tell us that they were coming into the game. They did not warn us. So, a featured Cavalier crystal costs 4,000 shards. Well, everybody who did 100% of all the side quests had an extra 2,000, assuming you used everything you had on Cavalier crystals. Well, if you do the math, that means that you could pair those 2,000 with day 6, get a bonus Cavalier crystal plus a second bonus on day 8. But if you spent the 2,000 because you thought, well, we're never going to see him again, now you really wish you got those 2,000 back, but you can't get it. On top of that, I still think there's a good chance, because we see this every month, that there's side quest currency, they will come back as bonus currency at the end of the month for daily Grandmaster and especially daily Cavalier offers, so keep that in mind for the end of December, maybe even the beginning of January. But this was terrible except for day 14. If we can pull that up, there it is, the 3 greater gifting crystals. In fact, we got to see the drop rates of those thanks to this calendar last night. And then the biggest question mark, the biggest confusion was solo crystal shards? That's got to be a joke, right? Well, to Kabam's credit, they saw their forums on fire when they got to work this morning, and so they did buff it. This is the calendar that we now see. Not only are the holiday shards in multicolored view for everybody to see, but they have replaced what were the solo crystal shards with a combination of 2-star shards, so 2,000 2-star or 2,000 3-star shards, on day 2 instead of 1,000 solo crystal shards. Day 7, instead of 2,000 solo crystal shards, it is now 2,000 4-star shards. Day 9, instead of 3,000 solo crystal shards, it is now half of a 5-star crystal. That's very exciting. And then day 13, instead of 4,000 solo crystal shards, it's 1,500 6-star shards. Now, while that is way better than before, and we should be thankful for that, it still speaks to what Kabam is not willing to change. You see, this speaks to how the economy of the game has dramatically shifted in the last couple years. After the insertion of featured Cavalier crystals, And especially now that you have a small percent chance to get a 5 or 6 star Nexus from them. Getting 5 or 6 star champions has never been easier and therefore never been cheaper. Kabam is not going to make nearly as much money on shard deals, particularly 5 and 6 star shards, as they used to before Featured Cavaliers. So what are they going to make money on? Well, they're going to make money primarily twofold. On rank up materials, even those, particularly the Tier 5 Basic and the Tier 2 Alpha, are not as profitable because thankfully the Glory Store has improved so much. But they're especially going to make money on Awakening Gems and, yes, Signature Stones. So Kabam has chosen to not give us what we saw every year until this year, and that is the inclusion of any Tier 1 Alphas, any Tier 4 Class Catalyst, or especially, and this really sucks because I need this more than anything, and maybe I'll get plenty of them in the Greater Gifting Crystals, but you actually have to spend units on those, right? Any Tier 2 Alphas. So I feel for players, because this was amazing for like a proven player to get a free Tier 2 Alpha on the last day of the 2-week calendar. Like, that was incredible for their future first rank 4 5-star. Well, now they can't count on that. Will it motivate them to progress? Maybe, but it still is a reflection of the shift of the economy of the game. Crystal shards, easy to get. We'll give you some of those in the calendar, even if they're 6-star shards, despite Kabam Mike's claim that they can't just give those things away. But as far as rank up materials, there's a reason why there are no 6 stones in here. There's a reason why there are no Tier 4 Class Catalyst or Tier 1 Alphas or Tier 2 Alphas. Those things are still what they hope that you will be enticed to go after, in this case, Greater Gifting Crystals. If they gave you a Tier 2 Alpha, maybe you wouldn't want to throw 300 units at a Greater Gifting Crystal to get half a Tier 2 Alpha from one of those. We don't know. So that is my rant for the buffed, but still, in terms of rank up resources and other years, drastically lacking, improved 2020 holiday celebration calendar. Thank you for being patient as I got back into town, and I look forward to posting tomorrow, finally, some Greater Gifting Crystal videos. Until next time, YouTube, have a good one. Good night, good morning. I don't know what time it is that you're viewing this. I know, in my sake, it's already Tuesday because it's well past midnight.